All right, so let's get started. Unit 6, DNA and Modern Genetics. So this lesson is 6.1, Day 1, DNA Structures. So a couple warm-up questions. Question 1, what is a code? What codes have you used in your life? Code. Prediction. Oh, okay, good. You put that. What is a code? So some people say you have code in escape room to unlock the escape room. A code could be like a secret word, like your PIN code on your phone. Similar, yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I've got both. All right, predict by drawing what you think a DNA molecule looks like. So on number two, so it's a ladder like, but it's actually like a twisty ladder. Kind of strong. So it's like a ladder, but it's twisted. It's twisted. They're called double helix. Yeah. All right. This picture on the board is a lot better than my drawing, of course. So this is kind of what DNA looks like. We did this on cold. Like, all right. So this building describes the structure of DNA. In the active listening, what is DNA? What does DNA look like? It's more like it's a research
What are you talking about?
too hard to do. There you go.
What are you talking about? I didn't wear your hat.
Echoey.
That's not my hair. Okay, you got me. Dear Tim and Moby, do all animals have DNA? From Kevin. Yes, they do, Kevin. So do all plants, fungi, algae, and bacteria. Dinosaurs and other extinct life forms had DNA too. It's the basis for all life on Earth. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a complex molecule that kind of looks like a spiral staircase. This double helix shape forms into long strings. In humans and other multicellular life, DNA is unique to each individual, kind of like a fingerprint. One copy contains the complete instructions for building an organism. It's long, stretched all the way out. A single set of human DNA is over 6 feet, and there's an identical copy inside the nucleus of nearly every cell in the body. Well, you can think of cells as miniature factories. But instead of cars or cell phones, these factories build proteins. That's the all-purpose construction material for life. Proteins can be molded to do just about anything. DNA tells your cells which proteins to build and how to build them. It tells cells in your eyes to form out of crystallins. These transparent proteins let light shine through so you can see. DNA tells your red blood cells to build a protein called hemoglobin. It captures oxygen as blood passes through the lungs. Crystallins, hemoglobin, and other proteins are precision machines. They're made of hundreds, sometimes thousands of tiny parts. If just one of those parts gets messed up, the protein may not work. Human DNA holds instructions for building thousands of different proteins, used in more than 200 kinds of cell, forming dozens of different tissues, which all come together to make you. All of this information is stored within an incredibly simple code. It's built into DNA's structure in molecules we call bases. There are 4 different bases, and they stick together like puzzle pieces, always in the same pairs. They are cytosine, guanine, adenine, and thymine. You can think of bases as words in a special kind of language. They can be arranged into millions of different sequences, like sentences that spell out instructions for building any kind of protein. A section of DNA that codes for a single protein is called a gene. The average gene is thousands of base pairs long, and humans have more than 20,000 genes. But these protein coding sections represent only a tiny fraction of our complete DNA. The function of the rest, the non-coding DNA, is not entirely understood. To fit neatly inside a cell, the DNA spiral is wound into a coil, which is wound into an even bigger coil, which is wound into a structure called a chromosome. Up close, it looks like a big tangle, but it's actually precisely organized. This strong, flexible configuration keeps our personal info safe. Yeah, chromosomes come in pairs because of how we reproduce. In each of our 23 pairs, one's from the mother and the other's from the father. Each of those is a shuffled-up version of the corresponding pair in your parents. So even though all your genes come from your parents, your chromosomes are unique. That's why family members tend to look similar, but have lots of differences too. Eye color, hair type, and facial features are genetic traits. You inherit them in the genes you get from your parents. The number of chromosomes differs by species, kind of randomly. Humans have 46. Lobsters have 100. Corn has 20. Researchers have mapped the human genome, the complete sequence for human DNA. Comparing our genes to those of other life forms, we've discovered a lot in common. Humans share 96% of the same genes as chimpanzees, which isn't too surprising. But we also share 85% with mice, 60% with fruit flies.
Let's pause for a second. Let's think about what questions we're supposed to be answering now. Why is DNA important? And how is DNA like code? Okay. Let's get back to this.
And 50% with bananas. We even have genes in common with bacteria and other single-celled life. This supports what Charles Darwin proposed in his theory of evolution more than 150 years ago. All life on Earth is connected and likely traces back to a single ancestor. Yeah, some of the technology to come out of all this is pretty crazy, like gene therapy, manipulating our DNA to cure diseases. That can mean turning a defective gene off, swapping a healthy gene in its place, or adding entirely new genes into our DNA. Scientists have been doing that for decades with crops. They can insert specific genes into plants to get better traits, like bigger apples or tomatoes that can grow in colder weather. The results are called genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. Some worry about the damage they might cause to the environment. Like if GMO crops crossbred with plants in nearby fields. That could have unpredictable results. Gene therapy may carry similar risks to our own health. There's still so much we don't understand about DNA, so we need to be careful with these new technologies. Hey, let's see who this curly blonde hair belongs to. It's gonna say Tim every time, isn't it?
Wow, that Moby. He's such a character. All right. So there are two questions here. Why is DNA important? And how is DNA like a code? What do y'all think? Why is it important? Right, it's like the information for what the organism should be. Yeah, it's like the blueprint. Exactly, good. And so how is it like a code? Well, it's like a blueprint, just like Joe just said. Perfect. All right. Slide 5. Thinking. DNA is sometimes called the blueprint of life. Why do you think it is called that? Well, Joe pretty much just answered that. Because it's the instructions for what the organism should be. Just like a blueprint is instructions for what a house or building should look like. Nice. The students on the chat are telling me about the noises they're hearing. It's like Google Meet is haunted or something. All right, perfect. Slide 6. All right, what forms genetic code? It took almost 100 years after the discovery of DNA for scientists to figure out that it looks like a twisted ladder. When James Watson and Francis Crick published the structures of DNA in 1953. They added another clue to how traits are passed from parent to offspring. DNA contains genetic information for cells to make proteins. Proteins determine a variety of traits, from hair color to an organism's ability to digest food. That's cool. The structures of DNA. Parents pass traits off or to offspring through chromosomes. Chromosomes are made of DNA, and proteins are located in the cell's nucleus. Look at figure 1. I'll show that in a second here. The twisted ladder structure of DNA is also known as the double helix. The sides of the double helix are made up of sugar molecules called deoxyribose, alternating with phosphate molecules. The name DNA, or deoxynucleic acid, comes from this structure. The rungs of DNA are made up of nitrogen bases. Remember earlier this year we learned about nitrogen in the periodic table of elements? Nitrogen bases are molecules that contain nitrogen and other elements. DNA has 4 kinds of nitrogen bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Capital letters A, T, G, and C are used to represent these bases. I'm going to take a second to write these up here because we'll have to reference these for a long time. Adenine. How's it? A-D-E-N-I-N-E? Cytosine. How's that spelled? C-Y-T-O-S-I-N-E? Guanine. G-U-A-N-I-N-E? That's not too hard. And the last one, thymine. T-H what? Y. All right, perfect. All right, here is this figure 1 they're referencing. T with the A, so the thymine always matches up with adenine. The C with the G, so the guanine always matches up with cytosine. Deoxyribose is a sugar. So if your DNA is made of sugar, doesn't that mean that you guys need to eat plenty of sugar to keep you healthy? Yes, I have some. Phosphate. So food that has phosphorus in it is probably important. Nitrogen. Remember they said there was nitrogen bases? So to have food with nitrogen. All right, so DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, is the genetic material that determines inherited traits. Everybody say this with me. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Go. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Joe, you did pretty good. Yeah, perfect. I'm going to put in here a note for every class. Yeah, that's why they abbreviate. All right, maybe I should make this like orange or red. Make it bigger. Comic Sans, good idea. Perfect. Practice saying it out loud. There you go. Perfect. Deoxyribonucleic acid. All right, cool. Yeah, exactly. All right, chromosomes, genes, and DNA. Figure 2, this is page 110 in your book. In figure 2, you can see the relationship among chromosomes, genes, and DNA. A gene is a section of DNA, molecules that contains the information to code for one specific protein. A gene is made up of a series of bases in a row. The bases in a gene are arranged in a specific order. For example, ATGACGTAC. A single gene on a chromosome may contain anywhere from several hundred to a million or more of these bases. Whoa, imagine that. In a row, a million A, T, C's, and G's all mixed up. Each gene is located at a specific place on a chromosome. Because there are so many possible combinations of bases and genes, each individual organism has a unique set of DNA. DNA can be found in all the cells of your body except for red blood cells. DNA can be found in blood samples, however, because white blood cells do not contain DNA. That's how you have different blood types. And that's how blood is transferable. You have blood donations and blood transfusions because there's not the DNA in the white blood cells. So they are accepted by other people. All right, and this is figure 2. So here's like an image from a microscope. They zoomed in a whole bunch, so you can kind of see it. It looks a little textured, but that's just the this wrapped up, coiled up over and over and over. Kind of like what? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? All right, order of the bases. A gene contains the code that determines the structure of a protein. The order of the nitrogen bases along a gene forms a genetic code that specifies what type of protein will be produced. All right, so what does DNA look like? DNA looks like a twisted ladder or a double helix. So you're supposed to make a prediction at the beginning. Is that what you thought it looked like? Yeah, slide like 2 had it. Nucleotide, a building block of DNA, sugar, phosphate. There are 4 nitrogen bases. Yeah. Who? Where? What picture? I'm the little one in the orange. No, I'm the big one in the white. Oh, thanks, I guess. I don't know. That was a few years ago. My son is, what, like 13 now? Oh, that's weird. But I don't have anything up here, so I can't. I gotta have hair somewhere.
Grow your hair up here.
Some of it doesn't grow. That's so insensitive, Joe. All right, Dylan discovered what I need to do. I need to get a wig. Thanks, Dylan. All right, so what does DNA look like? So A, adenine, T, thymine, C, cytosine, and G, guanine. A always pairs with T, and C always pairs with G. So this is easy to remember because C and G look a lot alike, don't they? G is just C with like an extra, like, I don't know, hitchhiker's thumb or something. And T and A, they are both of all straight lines. There's no curvy lines in capital A, no curvy lines in capital T. Oh yeah, too. CG is computer generated. App. I think it's math. They're trying to learn math. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Should have not had your head down during that part. Look at your slide. Crime scene investigation. Yeah. All right. Based on what you just learned, predict the other side of the DNA strand. So on your document here, you're going to put in what the other side of the DNA strand you think should be. How are we doing on time? Oh, good on time. All right, so again, G matches with C, and T matches with A. So if you have a C here, what letter should match with the C? G. What letter matches with the A? Anybody? Nobody? That's good, but you should make them capital. But you don't change it down. Next time, make it capital. All right, this isn't too tricky. Yep. 4 nitrogen bases. All right. Hopefully you got that done by now. Let's just type in the series of letters in. Anyway, it should be G, T, A, C, C, G, A, T, T, C, A, G, A, T, C. Check your prediction. Were you correct? Hopefully. And a couple people type them in lowercase. That's okay for now. So next time, type them in capital. Make them all capital here. All right. DNA model activity. You'll be given a paper model of DNA. We'll use colored pencils to label and fill in the completed sections of the DNA. First, fill out one side of the following bases and then write their corresponding partners. Make a key to show what color stands for each base, as well as deoxyribose and the phosphate molecules. Look up at least, okay, this is the research after that. Look up at least 3 reasons someone might have the DNA tested and the wrap up. All right, so this DNA model activity, let me see what it looks like on here. So you can start by getting these things filled out here. And then once you get that done, if you are done with your quiz, I want you to work on the DNA model with colored pencils. If you're not done with your quiz, do this, the wrap up, the research, and then do your quiz. Okay? So I got colored pencils up here. Pencil sharpeners, the paper. you're going to use these letters on your documents for these DNA models. Okay. All right, and just for the purposes of recording this video, so I can stop recording, make the video a little shorter, it says research, look up at least 3 reasons that someone might have their DNA tested. What do you guys think about that? Have you heard of anybody getting their DNA tested for any reasons? What for? The crime scene, yeah. So if you're having offspring, see if you have any genetic disorders, good. All right, the wrap-up question. Describe the structure of DNA to someone who has never heard of it before. So this would be something you do in your own words. All right, so right now you're going to be working on the application question and then do the research. And if you haven't done your quiz yet, do that next. If you have done your quiz, then do the coloring activity. So you're going to color in the different, yeah, you're going to color in the different letters of the things here. Sure, if you wanted to, yeah, that'd be great. Apple green. Oh, that G should be green. All right, so I'm going to stop this recording. Oh, it says it right there.